My name is Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today is another horror around the world, and this time, Russia. It was so hard to find Russian film, and I came across a lot of weird ass films when I was doing this. Some I'll mention in some other videos down the track, but today I'll mention a few. This list is so diverse that I'm going from like folk fantasy to found footage to experimental film. It's crazy, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. The first film I want to talk about today is Mute Witness, and this one is a gem. If you like thrillers and murder, mystery, kind of action, scary, run away from the guy type movies, this one's for you. When I was looking up Russian films, there was a few collabs with other countries. This is one of them. So let me break this down. The film itself is filmed in Russia by a Russian director with American and Russian actors. So it's a Russian film and a Russian production, but within the film it is about people filming a film. Sorry, this is very confusing. And in the film there is an American director, Russian actors, it's filmed in Russia, and then the people who are working on set, so the crew, are actually American. So it's about the breakdown between communication between the Russians and Americans. So they're always asking what other people are saying, and it's kind of got a lot to do with that. Though the person who is doing set design is a mute woman. So it is about her witnessing something on set that is so crazy, and she needs to hide from these Russian people. And she doesn't understand what they're saying, and she's also mute, so she cannot call for help. So I recommend this one if you like murders or thrillers or just, you know, kind of like chase films. I don't want to reveal what she sees on set because it's kind of cool, so I'm just gonna leave that. The next one I want to talk about today is Vi, and this, I hope I'm saying that right. This is a awesome movie. I was like, I don't know about this one. It was sick. This film is adapted from a famous Ukrainian folktale, and it's about a young priest who has to spend 3 nights in a church with a dead corpse. Obviously the corpse is dead, it's a corpse. It's a corpse. This movie is really cool, and it has a super interesting like experimental start that you totally aren't expecting, and it just grips you. It's a simple story, but it's done really well, and it's really easy to watch, and it's creepy. It's cool and creepy, like spooky creepy, not like scary creepy, if that makes sense. I'd say it is a little bit slow in the middle, but just wait for the end. The end is wild. If you make it to the end of this film, let me know in the comments down below because it totally pays off. There is a new film called Vi, and it is also Russian, and I'm not sure if it is a remake of this one, but it is very fantasy based, and I couldn't figure out by reading about it if it had anything to do with the same thing. If you know, let me know. The next film I want to talk about is called Visions of Suffering, and this one is a trip. If you don't like experimental, if you don't like low budget, if you're not keen to see something crazy, don't watch this one because it is insane. Let me start off by saying I watched 3 films by this director who is a low budget, experimental film, disgusting, weirdo director. They were good in their own rights, but this one was definitely the best and definitely came together the best. The other ones were Nails, which was about a guy hammering nails into his head, and the other one was a documentary called Philosophy of the Knife, and that one goes for like 3 hours. So this is the one I totally recommend because it has a bigger round picture that actually kind of makes sense in the end. And it is super interesting. I'll give you that. It's super, super interesting. So this film is super stylized, like the director. He makes everything, you know, overdone with filters, and he loves special effects. The whole thing is just like a sound experience. So this movie is about a guy who's experiencing nightmares, and he's told by the telephone repairman that if he's having a nightmare and it's raining outside, the dead can come and take him away. So that's just what happens, really. He fights them off until the end. Once again, this is an experimental film. It also has really disturbing themes. Gore, drugs, necrophilia, and the list goes on and on. If you're into wacky, crazy, disturbing things, this one is definitely for you. The next film I want to talk about is called 10 Little Indians, and it is an adaptation of an Agatha Christie story. This one is also remade because there was an original thing, I think it was American story, maybe 10 or 20 years before this one, but this one is meant to rate a lot higher, and I thought it was pretty good. Apart from one theme in there that obviously the title, and it really has nothing to do with the whole story, which really bugs me. I do think it's very racist, and I do not condone that in any way. I want to make that very clear. So this one might not be completely horror, but it is an old school like murder mystery, and it is quite disturbing. It's meant to be one of the darker darker tales from Agatha Christie. So I would definitely recommend this if you like murder mysteries. And if you like old school stuff, this one really reminded me of William Castle's House on Haunted Hill. So a group of strangers are gathered together on a deserted island for different reasons. Once they get there, they realize that these reasons do not hold up, and they hear an announcement announcing everyone to the room and that they have all killed someone within their life. So once again, it is a murder mystery, so they're trying to figure out why they're there, who's the killer, and who's next. And I thought it was pretty gripping, it's pretty good. I don't watch a lot of murder mysteries, but this one had me. So my highlighted film of Russia is Devil's Pass, and this one is a collab again, and this is between UK and Russia, but it is filmed in Russia, and there is both Russian spoken and English spoken, but you're meant to only understand the English, which I think would be really interesting if you knew Russian and you watched this, because you would know things that are happening. But it is a really cool film, and it's actually directed by a Finnish director. So this one is a found footage film, but it has a more surprising ending that you could ever dreamed. It is crazy at the end, and you do not see where it's going, so I don't want to ruin it for you, but it definitely has some more elements to it than it first appears. So a group of American university filmmakers go to Russia to hike this mountain, and they're trying to uncover this mystery about these scientists that went hiking up this mountain and then all died in a mysterious way. This is a really surprising film with a really creative story, and the special effects might be a bit much in some places, but I totally think it's worth the payoff. So I hope you guys like Russia. This one was super hard for me. If you know any Russian films, let me know down below. I couldn't get my hands on a movie called Dead Daughters, which is meant to be pretty good. So if you've seen that, let me know how that is. If you haven't heard yet, I'm watching 31 films in October, and all the details are in the down bar, but pretty much I want you guys to request films, and then we can put out the lists and watch them together. Explains it all in the down bar. Check that out. I hope you guys are having a great day. Stay spooky. I'll see you later. Bye. Which we don't like to talk about. No one likes to talk about this. It was a huge flop. Angelina Bettis plays Carrie, who's also the person who played May in May, which I love. And it also has one of my girl crushes, Catherine Isabelle, in it, who is known for Ginger Snaps and American Mary.